Hey guys, and welcome back to another Woodbrew video.
In this week's episode, we're building a super simple, modern, kitchen organization shelving unit thing. You could use it in your office, in your garage, wherever. We're kind of replacing some of these metal shelvings that we bought when I first moved into the apartment.
They're just too dark now.
Yeah.
I wanted to lighten up the space, you know?
So?
And my pink bowls are gonna look so cute on them.
All right, with that said, let's get started. Before we jump into this project, I want to share with you guys a quick tip on SketchUp. If you don't know what SketchUp is, it is a 3D modeling software. It's something that we've used for years and years, and it's a great way to visualize a project before you get started, create a cut list, know the materials you need, things like that. They are the sponsor of this week's video, and we are thrilled to be partnering with them because it is a product that we really believe in and we've been using for close to 10 years now. So it's been a long journey, and this is an amazing software that if you haven't tried before, I highly recommend. So without further ado, let's get into this. So I want to give you guys a tip on creating components to speed up time whenever you are in a SketchUp file. So a lot of times with furniture making, you only need to make one side of a project and you don't have to make the second side over and over. So if I've created this one side of the shelf and I select all of it by just dragging over, dropping, and I hit G on my keyboard, that's going to create a component. So I could make this the sub assembly. And when I hit enter, basically this is going to create this as its own separate object. So if I click at it, it's basically all together. If I double click inside of it, then I can edit each individual part. So if I click back out, I can select this, and I'll show you why this is so awesome. If I hit M on the keyboard for move, if I hit Alt or Option, that brings up the plus sign, and I can duplicate this over, drop it, and there are both sides of the shelf. Now I've already done the shelf and this back stretcher, so I'm just going to quickly drag these in place. Zoom in real quick. I'm going to duplicate these again by using the move tool, so M, Alt, pull that down. I'm going to hold shift so I can reference that spot right there. And then I'm going to do times 3. You can see that in the bottom right corner. Enter, and that multiplies that by 3. And there they are. So what's so great about creating components is that, let's say I want to make a change within one side of this. So if I double click in, I want to make all of these stretchers that are 1x2s, I want those to be in the center of the back 2x2. And that's what we ended up doing at the end. So if I use the move tool and I move those in 3/8 of an inch, again that's in the bottom right, and hit enter, that's going to put that in the center of that board. And if we look over here, it's also made the change to this side as well, so I don't have to make that change over and over and over again. Let's say with these shelves, which are also components, if I didn't want to make this cutout, I could just push this in here, I could push it in back here. Obviously that doesn't really work, but it just for the purpose of this tutorial, you can see that I easily made a change to all of those, and it's just that easy. So that's a great little tip if you're using SketchUp or if you're getting started into SketchUp to know and be able to use right away. So that really speeds up the time, guys. And if you're interested in learning more about SketchUp, we have a bunch of links in the description below, so go check those out. And without further ado, let's get back into this project.
First off, we're going to cut down our materials to length, which are going to be 4 legs from 2x2s, and then the stretchers for the shelves to sit on from 1x2s. For assembly, we're going to assemble one side at a time. So using a scrap piece of 2x2, we can raise the bottom stretcher up the leg and clamp it down so it won't move when we screw it together. We did the exact same thing to the other side, which is the top. Now for all the other 1x2 stretcher pieces, we're going to pocket hole all of those, so we need to go ahead and drill those holes into every board. We want to bring in these pieces a little bit, so we put a 3/8 inch spacer underneath to do so. The rest is pretty simple. Square up the piece, clamp it down, and screw it in. We did the exact same thing for the other 3 pieces. For those top and bottom pieces, we did put wood filler in and left it for a few hours to dry. Now on to the other side by doing the exact same thing, but we did go ahead and add the top and bottom stretcher here so we could attach the 2 sides together. All that's left for assembly is cutting out the shelves. We got 2 project panels and cut them in half for the 4 shelves. We need to cut a notch out so they will sit flush with the outside of the 2x2 legs. Now just to put them into place and screw them down. We went around and marked where each screw needs to go so we don't miss the stretcher that's underneath. Now to spray on the finish. that is going to wrap up this week's video. If you could see this in person, it actually brightens up the space a lot compared to the black metal unit we had before. I can't wait for when we have more space to put another one right next to it. Anyways, we hope you all enjoyed, and we will see you in the next one.